Hello everybody, welcome to the 2018 discussion stream. I've already made a big mess up here, but ignore my scrolling mistake. Anyway, we are at the moment joined by the sign-ups group. Who are me, Evan, Joe, Rick is here as well. Will should be here, but we haven't seen him at the moment, so that is that. Say hello, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hiya.
A little bit of delay there, but that's okay. So, in the notepad, which at the moment is where it's supposed to be, we will start this with a bit of general info, and then we will go to the season and ratings review. Did you leak the ratings? Yes, Armor, I accidentally did, but only for a second.
Only for 1 second, don't worry.
Yeah. We will talk about as well about certain drivers and how they ended up into the 2019 seats, or if they ended up without seats. There are some which we'll talk about more than the others, but yeah. After that we will move to the GP4 OC Discord, and that's when everybody else can join the call and talk shit with us, which is always fun. I put into the description that a warning about swearing, because I like to swear a lot. But yeah, we will
be listed afterwards anyway, so don't worry.
Yeah, we will talk about the questions which were put into the chat that I made a few weeks ago. When I told today that it will be locked, I did not know that you actually cannot lock a chat in Discord. But yeah. Then in the voice chat we can talk about the season or the sign-ups, and finally we can take questions from the YouTube chat. Do not ask before that moment. We will not see it or not answer it probably. But yeah, yes, also I wrote that note to myself that never scroll the mouse with the notepad, which is pure amazingness. But yeah, we will start with the first one. I will do this basic ratings info before we start. So I think I went through this last season as well, but people need to know a reminder. So each race, every driver is rated based on their qualifying and race compared to their car performance and their teammates' performance. Maximum rating per round for one driver is 25, and the minimum is at 0. To get at 0, you basically need to be out-qualified by your teammate and crash out in the race by yourself. That's pretty self-explanatory. So basically, if you get at 0, you have had a terrible race week. For the context, usually an OK round is rated around 9 to 11. Good performance is around 13 to 16. Over 16 means that it has been a very good race and you have overperformed the car. So let's not delay anymore. You probably saw something anyway, so let's start with the tier 5 drivers that performs noticeably very poorly most of the time, and this season nobody is in tier 5. Good job.
Give yourself a round of applause.
Yes, this probably means that the standard.
Nobody was terrible. Although it definitely felt like somebody was in tier 5, but you know.
Yeah, we are probably increasing that standard to get into tier 4, and so which means that tier 5 is probably going to be easier to get. It's mostly because the tracks have been generally Singapore excluded, better than last season and better than 2016, 2015, 2014.
At least we've got Korea next year.
Yeah. The little corner after turn 1 may be a little bit interesting, but otherwise that track is great.
Yeah. No, it isn't, George.
So anyway, we get to tier 4s. Drivers who underperformed the car and had difficult moments across the season. Pretty easy to explain. You most likely already guessed who are in tier 4 even before you saw it. And the last rated driver this season is Etienne Jones in his last season in the OC. So to give him some credit, his qualifying was actually fine. He was actually pretty fast on qualifying day most of the time, but where it all crashed down was his races, where sometimes he managed to get... Let's take an example. In Abu Dhabi, Maxim, his teammate, had an wing failure and crash in lap 1, had to pit on the longest pit lane, and at the end of the race, Maxim overtook Etienne by bumping him away, out of the way, and there were other examples where he will just suddenly drop 20 seconds to everybody, which was a little bit embarrassing for him at times.
Yeah, the whole thing, right? Him scoring 3 points, it really wasn't really a reflection of his true pace over the season. Same with Maxim, really, when he scored 0 points.
Yeah, Maxim definitely deserved some points.
Yeah, one race comes to mind.
Hey, it's one way to finish your career in the top class.
Yeah.
They being the worst.
Yeah, I guess so.
At least he was the long time manor driver.
Yeah, longest serving.
Yeah. And into the 22nd, Roberto Gamba, who lost out on the seats this season. He had a big drop from his 2017 form. Or it could have been that his teammate in 2017 was a little bit worse than his teammate in 2018. But in the end, there's nothing good to really take out from his season. McLaren in general were pretty bad, but the drivers did not help the season as well in any way. Apart from one race, which we will talk in Roberto Gamba's teammates entry. So, your opinions on Roberto?
Yeah, this was like a massive drop.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
feel like Roberto was like the most undescriptive driver of the season.
let's not forget as well, 2014. What a year he had in the Marussia. I mean, fantastic, and
Never
he
had a
kind
bad
of
one.
he kind of kept that up for the next few seasons, even when he was at Sauber. But it just seemed like this year he's just dropped the ball.
Like, he was also involved in like a good few incidents, if my memory serves me correctly. Like, he just did not know how to like get moved on about like was breaking something off the car.
Yeah,
Definitely lost the edge he had in the last few seasons, where he could even overperform his slow cars, but this season, no way. And into the next entry, 21st, Felix Sontag. Yeah, not really good. He had few very strong races. So Felix had 20 rated races in Baku and Belgium, or 20 rated rounds, qualifying included. But other than that, there's not really much to take from his season. He's kept his seat thanks to having some good races plus the competition for Williams not being that good, to be fair. So in 2019, we know the car is not going to be good, but he needs to improve if he wants to keep going into, especially if he wants to get into better seats and imitate his glory days, to say the least.
Yeah, this has like been kind of the second season in a row where Felix has like kind of picked up his form at just the right time to get retained, but overall his seasons just have not been good since he's come back.
Yeah, so really, 2019, he's got to really step it up.
Not sure if that's possible in that particular car.
Well, if he can put in some results that the car can do, or even exceed it, then maybe...
Beat the Manos by 20 seconds and that will be rated pretty well.
Anyway.
Into the number 20, our mid-season retired driver Ennis Paratsky broke our new rule. Just also I'm going to add a little bit about Flo. Florian completed the season, so his move was actually legal. But yeah, mid-season retirement. His season wasn't that good, but to be honest, had he just picked Toro Rosso, he may have retained his seat because of the level of competition that team had. So he could have easily had a second season in the OC. But it was up to him. I think from what I understood, he felt it was better for him to just be a spectator. We do enjoy him in the Discord, to be honest.
Why are people saying Ennis is terrible in the chat?
Like Ennis was like decent, but the problem is his races tended to last like 10 minutes at most, and then he'd have like some sort of problem or get taken out by someone. So his ratings didn't really help. Were really effective. Like in a way, like the ratings aren't really reflective of what he could have done this season. He was just crazy unlucky.
Yeah, but he was really outshadowed by his teammate most of the time. There were few very... For France, for example, comes instantly to mind where you think that he should have had a good result, but yeah, he was taken out.
Yeah, they're all the tier 4 drivers, by the way.
Yeah, and we move to tier 3, so this is the biggest tier, the average to say. So I've written here, performing to at least the minimum of what is expected of the car, but still had decent moments during the season. So this is basically that you performed okay, but it could have been better. This is the biggest tier for a reason. The top of this tier and the bottom of this tier do have the biggest difference in performance. And I have no idea of the UK lockdown tier, so do not make that joke.
I did kind of make that. I did make that joke during the when I was doing discussions with Will during this. That was one of the jokes I made about the tiers. I said basically the tiers in GP4 OC. No, I'm not talking about the UK lockdown. I'm talking about the GP4 OC. So
the first in tier 3 we have Kirosima Di Rossa, who basically his being in tier 3 or tier 4 was what kept him the seat, and he did the bare minimum, let's say, to keep his seat at McLaren. His expectations for 2019 are pretty low compared to who he has as his teammate, but he had some good moments and a lot of bad moments, but in the end just about what could have been expected.
Yeah,
Franco hit the nail.
Was kind of, yeah, he was like hard. He kind of got hard carried by his Monaco performance being as good as it was. If he just had like a normal race in Monaco, he probably would have lost the job.
Yeah, his Monaco is by far rated his best race by 25 21 points in Monaco from the ratings, not in the actual thing. But his second best race was Austria, where he got an 18, and in Japan he got a 17. So 3 very good races, which saved his seat, because he has a lot of 5s, 4s, 7s, and that kind of races, which really give the base of what you could expect. He needs a big improvement, because I think the 2020 McLaren seat will be a wanted one.
Hopefully, next season's car.
Same with the Racing Point one as well.
Yeah.
We'll get to that soon.
Yeah, so into the next one we have Lean Campana, whose debut season was okay but not great. That's what I like. He did beat Felix, but in terms of the actual Williams, I think in OC terms and tier 2 or tier 1 performing driver could have done a lot more with that car than what Lean and Felix did. But in the end...
Sorry, it's just like, for example... Sorry.
Yeah, in the end okay. And now, yeah, up to you to tell.
Yeah, it's just, for example, like Pauline Tomaselli in 2017, he had a car similar to Williams 2018 while running the Sauber, and he was able to really get out that car into places unimaginable. So Lean didn't do that. It's just, we know that back markers can suffice.
Yeah, Lean was great in qualifying as well. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, that's actually true. I think qualifying is at the moment becoming a Felix Achilles heel in the OC during his second stint in the series.
We'll point out as well with Lean, towards the back end of the year, he had 5 retirements in a row. 3 of them, I think, were lap 1 crashes.
Yeah. So I think, like, I actually think, like, because of that, Lean is kind of lower in the rankings than he probably should have been. Like, it's like just like in all things considered, it was like a decent debut season.
And let's move to the 17th driver. And, well, it's 16 because it's a 2-way tie. So, Maxim Titkov and Miklos Gal. So, let's start with Miklos. He saved his ass during the last 3 races. He was deep in tier 4 during the most of the season. Then he really fired up during the last few races. Had some, like the last 3 races for Gal were an 18 and 2 15s, which were better than any of his races before, apart from Singapore and China.
You could have arguably said as well that he probably would have won in Brazil as well.
Yeah, but him losing the Brazil win was his driver's own fault, which tanked his Brazil rating. In the end, he is really, really lucky to stay in the OC, because we will come that to later. And honestly, we will get to it soon, but the 2019 lineup for Red Bull is not looking that confident. And in terms of Maxim, good debut season, not spectacular, but a very good one, with his highlight race being a DNF, which really hurts. He got the maximum rating out of that race, but he should have had more points, because he really deserved more points.
Yeah, so many times he missed out on points.
He was very consistent in beating his teammates throughout the whole season, so the fact that he's not the one scoring points is a bit of a robbery.
Yeah. Overall, though, Maxim has had a pretty good year, as Yuri said, and I'd argue it was better than Etienne, even though the Drivers' Championship doesn't reflect that. We can all agree
way better.
Could have had more.
especially in races, way better. In qualifying, he has some more to do with a DTM champion as a teammate. It will be an interesting lineup, to be honest.
Him Rosetta next season should be pretty fun. Anyway, 15th is going to be a surprising one. To
Yeah,
everyone, I think.
15th, Franco Gamba. And now, first off, again, very lucky to get the Red Bull seat. When he got the Red Bull seat, Franco had just gotten podium and was in close to tier 1 territory. He gets announced at the Red Bull seat and drops off completely. Like, his second half of the season was what we saw from him in like his earlier seasons, with very weirdly erratic performances, and he in the end he got destroyed by George.
Yeah, like by the time we confirmed Franco for Red Bull, he was like second or third in the ratings. Like he was super high up.
At one point, he did get into tier 1.
I
Yeah,
think he might have been leading at that
Point that
point
out.
as well.
Wasn't leading it, but he was in tier 1. That's how much of a drop his second half has been. So
yeah,
he is very, very, very lucky that he's in a top team.
yeah. When we announced him, we thought it was impossible for him to drop below tier 2, and in the end he did drop way below, which was it was such a drop, and now we feel like if he keeps going like this in 2019, his Red Bull stint will be a very short one. But let's see if we are wrong.
To be honest, I do have a lot of faith in Franco, to be honest, with you next season. I think
And
he
in
will
general,
do well, to be honest.
It's gonna be pretty easy for Red Bull next season to do better than they did this season in terms of the championship. So
Oh yeah, Red Bull should be better next season anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think there is much potential for improvement, but as for the fact that he got the seat, fortunato bastardo. Fortunate bastard.
Anyway,
Into
up.
the 14th rated. Laura Chang, surprisingly low in the end.
Yeah,
She really fought for the Ferrari seat. But in the end, not able to get it. Armor was way better for that one. And what do you say? Yeah, she as well had some bad last few races. Like, her weakest part of the season was funnily enough when David Greenwood became her teammate. Before that, an amazing season, and is she the best rookie of 2018? Yeah,
I think by the
yeah. Based on the ratings, yes. Based on the
It's a bit of a
ratings,
shame that we're not seeing her next season.
yeah.
that's a shame. Because I think one thing that we can note for, she was a brilliant overtaker in 2018.
Yeah, some, like, most of the impressive moves of the season were by her.
China comes to mind as well, because that one shocked Yuri.
Yeah, she also had some good in France, and yeah, but also, as she's saying in the chat, plus 10 grid penalties.
Yeah, 2 10-place grid penalties during the season, I believe. Same with Franco Garbo as well, I think.
Yeah. But with that we can move to the next one, which is Roland Motian, who secured his seat based on previous seasons actually, because he was way better than Terway in 2017.
And you'll see why he was able to scrape it off Teravi in a little bit.
Yeah, and also something to say, he belongs into the category of drivers who really saved their seat at the last moment by having few very, very impressive performances during the last part of the season.
Yeah.
What's your take on Roland?
Well,
Roland continues to be a very solid but unspectacular midfield driver. Though the spectacularity in the last year race definitely helped him keep the seed, and also the fact that his 2017 was a pretty good season after all.
Yeah.
Hoping
Yeah,
that
it was.
Racing Point is gonna continue to give him more opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah, rolling season. You'd say mixed. I'd say it was mainly filled with a lot of good moments. Let's not forget Melbourne as a pure example. Fantastic race he had there. And even Brazil was a good race for him as well. He's had a lot of good moments, and arguably, obviously, he should have had a podium were it not for a 15-second time penalty that he got from the crash we had with Armar. But yeah, I would say overall it's been a good year for Roland, but obviously still a few little hiccups.
Yeah, something to actually, because we talk about Brazil, Roland's been a bit of a Brazil specialist.
Has been, yes.
And you usually as well a Suzuka specialist. Last season, this season was not, but usually has been. But yeah, that's it for Roland. And the next in the list, just above Roland, is his teammate Terry. We felt like he was just a little bit better than Roland, but in the end, not by enough based on 2017, where Terry was not that good.
Yeah.
At one point during the season, I think we all thought Taravi was going to get that seat, to be honest.
Yeah.
But towards the end, Roland started picking it up, and then it got to the point where Roland actually snapped it off him.
Yeah.
I feel like TRV is the case of someone whose past has come back to haunt him in terms of the results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the end, he could have fought for Red Bull seat, but wasn't to be.
Yeah.
New choice.
Yeah, but TRV would have like a 1 in a million chance of getting Red Bull because of circumstances. So.
And the next one in the list, Gabriel Gomez. Actually a good season, but still the issue is that his teammate, yeah, not the star of the team, but still a very solid season.
It was kind of the same when he was at Haas in 2016, to be honest. He had quite a weak first half of the season, but then the second half, he was just fantastic. And I get a similar feeling here, to be honest.
Well, he ended his season with a bang by crashing into the wall.
Yeah, at his own race. But overall, though it wasn't as impressive as his teammate, it was still a good year for Gabriel.
Yeah, he kind of went on the radar for everyone, really.
Yeah, probably. He kind of fell under the radar mainly because of the performances that his teammate was putting on. But it wasn't to say Gabriel's season was bad. It just there was a few little hiccups.
Yeah, considering the fact that he was slightly outshadowed by his teammate, it's not like he was terrible whatsoever. He was pretty good. It's just the fact that his teammate was slightly better. Well, slightly probably a bit better. But he will have another chance considering the fact that Alfa Romeo is going to be supplied by Ferrari engines in 2019.
Yeah, they still have the Ferrari engines for 2019. Not sure what the team will be like in terms of pace though next season. I don't know if it will be roughly same as it was. It will be a little bit down from 2018, of course, because, well, let's be honest. I even saw it in the Discord chat. I don't think anybody was expecting Sauber to surpass 100 points. Which is something.
They did well to be even in a contention with Force India.
And at one point, Renault, it must be said, they were 10 points behind them going into Brazil.
Yeah, very good performance. But I think we can move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So, 10th, David Greenwood. This we need to say that he has a very low sample size of only 4 races, which I think if he had the same amount of races as everybody else, he probably would not be this high. He had a very impressive 4 races, to be honest, though.
Yeah, it's a shame he won't be on the
but-
top class grid though, because he didn't sign up.
Yeah, not really much you can say about this. We could just probably just move on.
Yeah, but I
Kinda
would
hard
say
to
David's tried.
say here.
Go on, Rick.
So it's just kind of hard for me to judge his season because of the fact that he was just a replacement for Ennis for the last 4 races. But judged on that, I feel like he's gonna try again to get a seat because there's obviously still potential.
Yeah, I mean overall, if you take into account,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I cut off there for some reason. What I was going to say was, obviously he was in DTM for the entirety of the season. So if you take a look at his season as a whole, comparing the two of them, it has actually been a good year for David.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's put.
Didn't sign off at all.
Yeah, I think he's put himself back into the radar if he wants to return into the top class full time.
Yeah. Anyway, one more person to look at in Tier 3.
Yeah, topping Tier 3, Joel Hutter. A bit of an underrated season, I feel like. He was better than his champion teammate, even though in the end, in the standings, he wasn't ahead, but he had lots of times where he was simply the faster Red Bull driver. And also, while Miklos finished second in Mexico, which was Red Bull's best race, I think Joel should have won it, but a certain George Rogue decided to stop that from happening.
Ironic how George used to be his teammate in 2017. So
I mean-
that wasn't meant to be a dig, George. It was just to bring up some trivia.
I mean, Joel, it's funny how this whole story of Joel being the Red Bull seat has been quite a meme for some time, but he did prove.
Well, you kind of
Well,
started it,
yeah.
Rick.
Shut up.
It doesn't kind of help that the moment Joel joins Red Bull, they have their worst season since 2008, where they were a midfield team.
Yeah,
I mean-
first time since 2008 that teams had a winless season.
But yeah,
He's performed well. Better than people expected, that's for sure.
yeah, I think. But what Red Bull will say the most from 2018 is that they really miss Armor Car.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I will bring up though as well. Joe was in Tier 2 for most of the season. It's just towards the back end he kind of slipped off a cliff basically, and he's not going to be on the grid next season anyway. So didn't really make a difference in the end.
Yeah. And next up into the Tier 3. So Tier 2. Tier 2. Did I say Tier 3?
He said free.
Sorry.
Tier 2. So Tier 2 drivers overperformed their cars capacity, usually with good performances across the season. So Tier 2 drivers we feel like did really well overall from the season. Not perfect, but I'd say better than most will usually do. And let's start with the first one. Jay Mackenzie, and he's literally made into tier 2 at the last race, which...
Yeah.
If Jay
Had
had
he
gone
done
in
that
here
in Abu
before
Dhabi?
Brazil, he would have gone Red Bull.
So this is... Jay got the most unlucky with the sign-ups, because...
Yeah.
If... Yeah, so... Franco Gamba got announced early, which means that it was Jay against Miklos. And when we got into the final parts of the season, Miklos and Jay were in the same tier, and Miklos was better in 2017, meaning that Jay would lose with the seat. But then on the final race of the season, Jay had a really good one and just made it into tier 2, meaning that, yeah, if he had been in tier 2 just a little bit earlier, he would have beaten Miklos to the seat, or more. But yeah, he could have beaten Franco Gamba, and in the end, after looking at the end of the season ratings, he should have been Miklos's teammate, not.
Okay.
What's done is done.
Yeah, but he's still staying with a decent car.
This is why we're saying Franco and Miklos are very lucky. Basically, very lucky. They are lucky they got that. Well, Miklos is lucky he got into tier 3 right at the end.
Nice seat house Gamba. Yes.
Jay just said he's still tilted with the Abu Dhabi strategy. Yeah, it was. I think it was the same with anyone who was on a free stop, to be honest.
So.
Anyway, next stop from Jay.
7th, Paulino Tomaselli. Again, definitely the most exciting newer driver in the OC, and now it's getting into the point where we can count him as an top driver in a midfield car.
Some people are even saying that he might be one of the best in the OC right now, and he hasn't even got to the top team yet.
I think he's going to score his first podium next season.
Ooh.
If he keeps going at this rate, it's going to be even multiple.
Paulino, to put it this way, 2017, I don't think a lot of people expected much from him, given that he was kind of lucky to get in the top class. But in a car that had a year-old engine, there's no disrespect to Felix, but he did actually thrash him in 2017. Then 2018 came along, much better car, just continued the momentum, and he's been a regular point scorer.
We did say it in 2017 discussion stream that this is what is expected from him now in 2018, and he might even exceeded those expectations, because he really fought the better midfield teams.
Indeed. So sorry, Lorenzo, your brother is doing very well.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Yeah. I mean, Paulina continues to be impressive, and it's just really hard to see him stepping down from that level, because the moment he does, it's going to be his downfall.
Yeah. I am, though, looking forward to seeing what he can do at McLaren, though, next season. It should be quite interesting.
And I think we will move into the 6th. Evan Byrne. I think he replicated his first career's form, like the 2010-2011 form. I think he was really good, especially after his helmet change. He had an amazing run of results during that time. And now for the first time in his career, he's getting stable with a team.
I think he's even said himself that he wants to, he's looking long term, especially with the 2021 season. So,
I mean, if the car sucks in 21, I'm going to leave, so. Spoiler.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, but overall, Evan, fantastic year from him, to be honest. I'm not saying that because he's in here. It has been a good year for him. Because I would say that he's shown signs of his old self, really, especially when he was in McLaren. I know he's in a midfield team, but you saw signs of what he was capable of in 2011, which I think a lot of people would arguably say he should have won the title in 2011 because he got 6 wins. And I think the one that everybody remembers from Evan this season, Hungary qualifying. He nearly got pole.
10
Still
Frank
bitter about
did
that, by the
it.
way.
Yeah.
I'm still bitter.
That's when the Frank meme was born because I made a typo error on Twitter.
Yeah, and Frank and so-called Frank had a very interesting weekend for first taking the popular midfield pole away and then crashing into his title rival. And neither of them ended up winning.
I only know Evan Bryan.
Okay, spoiler, I put that in my documentary for college, so...
Yeah.
So we move to the 5th.
Gomez was another one that was a meme
Yeah.
for me because I did another typo with that as well. Anyway,
Like, most of
moving
the
on.
FC memes are typos, so
Next.
Next up is Joseph Willows, the two-time champion. I think out of the top team drivers, easily the unluckiest one, but also the weakest performing one. I'm now talking about Ferrari and Mercedes. I'm definitely going to do that. Some really unlucky moments, like in Monza and yeah, lots of car failures as well. But then we can also add races like Austria, where he literally just spun from the lead. And now, as the final one, an embarrassing final of the season in Brazil.
You didn't bring up Belgium there, Yuri. Oh, bugger, I shouldn't have mentioned that.
Joe was pretty bad in Belgium, not gonna lie.
I mean,
Flo
it seems like Joe always.
will still scar me with that.
I think this season may have put an end to the who is the actual GOAT of the OC, if it's Flo or Joe. I think this season has put an end to that, but still, in terms of his standards, this wasn't his finest season, but still tier 2, which he's easily keeping his seat with that kind of performance.
I mean, Joe just continues to be, I guess, the unluckiest of the front runners, because he always ends up behind in the championship battle.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe is the GOAT. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I got a strong 2010 feelings from his season.
To be honest, I didn't, and I'm not being biased because I felt that 2013 had 2010 vibes. I'd say 2018 had more 2015 vibes, to be honest, because beginning of the season I had a run of 3 consecutive retirements, which probably prevented me from challenging Flo that year. But that's the vibe I got from it, anyway.
So in 2010, you have a rough season in a Ferrari, and I have a good season in a Renault. And then 2019,
I was in a McLaren in 2010.
Who cares? I can make that.
You replaced me at McLaren, Evan.
Do I look like I care? This is my story. I'll tell it how I want. I got a B in Leaving Cert at High Honors English. I can do this.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think we can move to the next one.
Yeah.
And P4, Franco Lopez, also called as Frank Lopez. During the early season, he was leading the ratings usually.
Tier 1 for most of the season.
Yeah, then he did have a drop, and especially Abu Dhabi drops his rating a lot. Simply just crashed out of the race. Others, let's take a look here. He had an average Brazil, but also a really bad Canada.
Yeah.
Other than that,
It's a bit of a shame.
Other than that, it was an good debut with Mercedes, and I still think he is a future champion of the series, maybe even next season.
It's a shame we'll never know whether he could have actually beaten Flory into the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old guy's not playing the new guys over when they leave. Typical.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting how like all those new guys are covered. That means that either Joe or Mitchell are gonna win next season.
Yeah.
In Newton will never win. So, next up,
Franco Lopez.
it is not number 3, but it is tied second with Joe Troke and Armor Car. And the biggest surprise of the season is George's performances, especially during the second half of the season. Amazing results almost every single time during the second half. Only a single dip was the USA race. Other than that, he scored more than 12 in every single race after Monaco. He scored over 12
Jeez.
at every single race after Monaco. Apart from the USA.
Unfortunately, that was
George-
team's home race, so
Just a fantastic year for George, to be honest with you. No words really. I mean,
Easily
probably the
his
much needed year.
easily his best season in the OC, even his prime seasons like 08 considered.
Yeah.
This I think
And don't forget, ended his podium streak.
yeah.
Yeah, third career is the charm, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's like his third time.
And
Armor car.
great season. He did everything he could, I think.
Yeah.
Beat Joe on pace, even though Joe was a little bit unlucky. Armor was the faster driver at Ferrari. He had some weak ones, but those were as well between some of the most brilliant drives we have seen. And yeah, Red Bull will miss him for forever. But
yeah.
at this moment, it's clear to see that he is now a full-on top driver in the OC.
Like Armor was like kind of once again like one of the best drivers on the grid. So it still kind of weirds me out that his career got started because Victor broke his leg at Monaco. Like I'm never going to be able to like kind of like
Broke his leg. Can we put that in
like I'm never going to be able to
quotation
disassociate that with Armor now. Like it's somehow like one of the most important things to ever happen in the OC.
Also, I'm going to write something here.
Gosh.
Stop
It looks
calling
like that
him.
broken
Oh
leg.
my god. I don't know what you're talking about, Yuri.
He started in 09. We cannot call him new gen.
Look, this isn't
Hey,
wrestling. We can't
broken
take a guy
legs
who's been in the
really
company
did
for
the
10
job.
years and only say, yeah, face the new gen.
I am young though. What do you mean? Said Armor.
Yeah. Honestly, the only new gen drivers in the top cars were Franco Lopez and Joel Hutter. And Franco Lopez we can even argue a little bit, but I think 2014 he started his career, so it's okay.
Before we move on, there's a note here from Etienne Jones who's just come into the chat. Prob's weird I'm saying this, but thank you for the 4 seasons in the F1OC. Been a great journey with Manor, and who knows, maybe I'll return in a future series, but for now I will not return. That's a message from Etienne.
Yeah, we have seen it. Yeah, definitely did more seasons in the OC than some will ever do, and yeah, you had some good results as well there.
Anyway, there is one more name that we've left out.
Yeah.
He's actually in tier 1.
We get into the tier 1. Tier 1 is amazing season with great moments, way outside of any possible dips during the season. Tier 1 is an elite season performance, and this season only one driver made it. And
Do you think it was, guys?
yeah,
I heard it was
Of
short
course.
last year in like
top in the rankings on his surprisingly final season in the OC, Florian Walker, and I think he is now the undisputed GOAT of the OC with his five titles, and so
Anyway, Joe's fishing rice here. Don't tell him that.
I
and
guess Flo really is missed the second half of the season.
yeah, after his first half of the season you could even wonder if he'd still had it, but his second half of the season was amazing.
Mm.
In that second half of the season, it was honestly, Austria was good, Britain was okay, then starting from Germany, the run of form he had, apart from Mexico, all of his races were, there was an 18, 16, 18, 18, 19, Singapore was 14, then 18, 20, and yeah, best race of his season was German with a 22. And
Yeah.
it really tells that during the first half of the season we thought it was going to be Armar versus Franco, and then during the end of the season we were talking about that Flo is going to win it easily, especially after USA where he lost his front wing and ended up finishing ahead of his teammate.
Yeah, 5-time world champion.
Now
Will
we
ever
can-
get another one?
Yeah, if anybody ever will do it, but at this point, as he's finished his career, we can talk about which season do you think it
career
was
in
his
the-
best?
Career in the top class, we should point out, not
Yeah.
GP4 as a whole. Just top class.
Which do we think is his best season? Is it 2011, 2015, or this?
In 2015,
I'm
they had
still
like a near
gonna argue
untouchable
2015.
stage, though.
I would argue 2015, and I'm not saying that because I hosted it. He did it in a car that shouldn't have won it. Period.
Like
And
against like
a lot of wins that year.
against like a near unbeatable Mercedes.
Yeah. To be honest, 2010, 2011, Flo's early titles were consistency titles and not pure pace titles, but still, I think those were still amazing seasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2015, yeah, that
I will
that
happily. I guess I'll have to handily hand over the GOAT baton to Florian.
yeah, at the
Joe, you handed it.
But I will get it back. I will get it back, hopefully. I'll say that with a nervous voice.
it's a challenge because now there's a lot of new drivers going for your
Yeah.
ahead of you.
And me and Miklos and Jay, you could say, are literally. Well, are we? I think we're the only 3 champions on the grid now. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna be like the only ones who ever win the title from here on out. So enjoy that exclusivity.
Anyway, that's the ratings then. So Florian Volker was the best driver of 2018. Not only because he won the championship, but second half was just amazing.
Yeah, and next up, we will move into the GP4 OC Discord, and you guys can join us there. And
So,
this will take just
Give us a mo.
just a moment.
Yep.
I'm going to join it right around
mute.
now.
We're back on.
Yeah, we are. I never muted. Yeah, we are. I never muted. And if somebody echoes, please mute yourself.
Terve.
Terve.
Is it clear?
Nice.
Nico, you are in the wrong chat.
Lol.
Nico.
Devera.
I
Oh my
cannot believe.
god, poor Nico.
Nico D.
Someone should get Jackbox so we can like actually play Jackbox as a community.
I'd be down for that.
Rick.
Hello again.
Hello, Nico.
Of course I do mistakes. Of course, it has to be
Wrong
me.
chat.
Good evening.
Hello there.
At least
Oh,
I didn't,
here
at least I
comes
didn't
the
sleep in the
alcoholic.
stream, guys. At least I didn't
Yes,
sleep
with a
in the
drink,
stream.
obviously, Friday night and that.
You were supposed to drink tomorrow.
Buonasera.
Buonasera.
Meanwhile, I'm basically stuck eating the greatest thing in the world: bread with cottage cheese.
Ugh.
Nice.
Okay.
Ugh. Yeah. That definitely is not the best thing in the world.
I've had
That's
birds
everyone's cup of tea. Everyone's cup of tea. Anyway.
Yeah, next up we will go to my end season discussion topic Discord channel.
We are unmuted, aren't we?
No,
Oh, okay.
we've been live the whole time.
Have I been talking shit this whole time?
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Is that any different though?
No, not really, but
Come on, don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Can I say something just now? Can I just say this now? I will do this very close to the mic. Listen. We are having custom team for 2021. Make that clear to everybody. The fact that we still got asked that about 5 months after it was announced is ridiculous. Do we understand?
No.
Are you even on stream right now?
No.
I did actually want to ask a certain
that-
thing about 2021 now that George mentioned it. So basically, how exactly will the fantasy performances work? Because I don't imagine it will be 100% random. So I don't imagine Williams will jump from the slowest car all the way to the second fastest.
No, it's based on. So a team's car can improve from their previous season. They can improve or get worse. So basically, the system is made so there can be big jumps, but it is very unlikely. So, for example, if the 2020 Mercedes in 2021, they may drop to not be the best team, but most likely, like they won't become a lower midfield team in one season.
Yeah, understood. But in more than one season, it can happen.
Yeah,
Actually.
definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially since the engines have their own system of improving. So even if the Mercedes car is good, if the engine flops, that's going to be an issue for them.
So the engines will have fantasy as well.
Yes,
Alright.
especially since there's going to be more engine manufacturers anyway.
That's great news.
I take it sorry, I've actually something. I take it the sign-up system is going to still be the same as what it has been last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
As well, no different.
Well, obviously, now that into the future, we won't know how good the team people are signing up for is going to be. It's definitely gonna provide quite a lot of mystery. Because obviously, you know in real life, with hindsight, in real life, how quick the cars are gonna be for these seasons. But when you get to fantasy, you're not gonna have that luxury anymore.
Yeah, that's going to be the best thing about the fantasy series. That's going to be the best thing for myself, that you cannot predict it anymore, apart from basing on how you will predict it by yourself, and of course how the team was in the last season.
Do you think that's going to stop
say
Clark?
that's something that George would do.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Do you really think that's going to stop Clark? That's just the big question. Nothing is going to stop him.
When it's
No,
I think either way, Clark will be always last, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Wait. Well, I know this is the answer to this is probably yes. But will Thor also / AlphaTauri be able to get much faster than Red Bull with fantasy performances, or will that not be allowed?
Maybe they won't even
Maybe.
exist.
Oh man.
Maybe it's Minardi. Again, who knows?
Or maybe we're having Subway again with Ferrari engines.
Anyway,
Or Jaguar. Please bring Jaguar back.
anyway, we will do the discussion topic chat now, then we can keep going with the other questions. So we will start with Franco G. How will the new race rating and driver of the day vote system work, and can Joe answer that?
Okay, yeah, so I did have a rough idea in my head of what I want to do. So, obviously, if anybody can cast your minds back to, I think it was USA, I believe, where nobody voted and I had to literally... Or was it Russia? I can't remember which race it was, where I literally had to
thought it was USA.
force the hand of
USA
people,
probably.
essentially. It was very clear from that point that something needed to be changed. So what I noticed was when I had my Mac broke on me, and it's kind of a blessing in disguise that did happen. I saw more people were voting when I put it in the Discord chat or on Twitter or whatever. So I'm thinking, to change it up, why don't we do like a driver of the... in fact, I don't want to do race ratings anymore. I think they're pointless, to be honest with you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think we'll just have it as a driver of the day rating, but we do it like once the race is finished, I then put a vote up on Discord or Twitter, and I can leave it open till about midnight, something like that. And then in the highlights, the driver of the day will be revealed right at the end of the video.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah, that
I think
sounds good.
you
Yeah.
should also link to Bart Sever's Discord and Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would obviously
Yeah.
link the vote to there. So I think that's one way where I think we can actually get it to work this time.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Obviously, no more race rating for 2019 because I just think that's now become redundant.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
thinking of another idea, perhaps. What if we had someone opening the driver of the day poll in the middle of the race, and we could have the result right at the very end?
Yeah.
That'd be too difficult.
I was thinking that actually in the back of my mind actually. But
But
I don't know.
that sounds good, I guess.
But the thing is,
If
something
we
could
have a
happen in the
graphic for
race,
that.
like if they crash out.
Yeah, that would not be good if some people vote in the middle of the race.
I mean, we
And
could
then-
open it with
If you like,
I mean,
Max
everyone getting
Verstappen-
criticism for it as it is.
if you like Max Verstappen, what year was it? 2016, 17, where despite the fact that he
16,
retired from
16.
16
years,
retired
yeah.
from other
Oh,
races,
yeah.
and he still gets
I'm
driver of
not
the
sure
day.
if he finished fourth
Or-
at the end.
Or Rio Haryanto.
That's right.
Yeah.
Legend that's Rio Haryanto.
When? When did... Wait, I missed that. Wow. Did I know
It's
that?
crazy to believe it's been 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years, crazy.
Sheesh. I think we all feel old, I guess.
But I think,
We're-
yeah,
we're
Joe's
joined
idea
by,
might actually work the best out of
Tupac.
any idea for
Yeah,
driver of the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll do that then.
I think into
Okay.
the next question.
On to Florian's one.
Yeah, so this
Yeah, I mean,
this seagull guy who doesn't have any influence in the OC whatsoever has... Yes, thank you. Fictional tracks allowed for...
Before we get onto that, I said to the four guys before we went onto the air, it kind of reminded me of that, you know, that little girl that went, look at all those chickens. It was kind of similar to that. What Flo did.
Oh man.
if I see the video, I'll probably remember it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think I'll.
Look at all
yeah.
those chickens.
Doris, I'm gonna link you that video.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yes.
I think,
Yeah, send me a link later, please. I'll remember it as soon as I see it.
Alright. Anyway, go
So
on.
yeah, so the question is, fictional tracks allowed for other tiers F1 to BTCC after 2020. FE uses some already. So I'm going to answer it from F1 terms. No. You control DTM by yourself, so you can do it if you want. I'm not going to stop you.
That was more likely a question.
I will say
Just
though, I
cool.
will say for BTCC with the fictional one, if there's like a fictional British track, I might consider it because there aren't that many tracks in the UK on the game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it is.
We
Might
just
be-
need Lidenhill and Grand
If
Prix.
you don't, you're getting an angry message. You're getting an angry message. Mark.
It was more of a question just to give a little bit of fire into that end season
Fire.
discussion topic chat. So
I
other
guess
people
DTM
will
could
also
use some
ask
of
some
those.
questions.
And moving into the next one, Rah0907 has
No
asked,
idea who that is.
introducing
Yeah.
penalty point system. I don't
No.
think that is a good idea.
No, this
we
gets
have,
asked
we have this
every
question
season.
every season.
I mean,
Did you do that
if
for the memes,
penalty
Rio?
points, if penalty points were introduced, I wonder which hand would have done to which hand would have happened to Duncan, who in 2013 crashed. I mean, like more than Mazepin is in these two races, probably.
Fun fact, Duncan actually had the least amount of DNFs in 2013.
Oh,
Really?
Oh, wow.
Into other races.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of hard to DNF if you crash on lap 1, come into the pits, and then you don't race with anyone.
Yeah, but he only had one DNF. Other times he just was wasting front wings.
Yes.
Yes.
So
But at least he wasn't a waste of space like another driver in 2017.
don't do that.
And I don't know who that could be.
moving on.
Moving on into the next one.
Don't speak like that of the King of Austria. Do not speak like that of him.
Well, yeah, he is the king of Austria.
Dennis Graff has asked new. Yes. He's still the best non-Finnish person to do that.
I can't do it.
No, I can't. Is it?
I don't even want to try it right now.
So,
Then try it.
new or returning engine manufacturers for the top class from 2021 onwards. Basically, yes. But I will not tell which ones.
Next question.
So,
Next question.
the Seagull guy, aka Dioka, and this one has lots of my favorite emojis into it. Commentary for F1 in qualifying or practice sessions, and I'm going to announce, in case you didn't know it already, this will start happening from next season and even during the pre-season. And of course the endurance as well.
Easy clap.
And next one, Panos_Check has asked, any chance of changing the point system after 2021 in the top tier? I really don't think I will.
Bring back
No.
What we have right now works.
No, right.
If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we could maybe change.
I'm not sure if we should
point
add
for
the
the
fastest
fastest
lap
lap
for
that everyone
2019
can-
or not, but besides that, we shouldn't make any changes whatsoever.
Yeah, but what if?
Well, we're having the
we
fastest
change
lap point for 2019 anyway, so.
Oh yeah.
it? Yeah, okay. My idea
I think
is,
point system is okay.
And
what if we get? Can I please ask a question? What if we change like the point system for the fastest lap, but everyone can get it, not like the top 10? Like
we are
We do in GP2.
we are getting over to that soon, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, next up, it's this Diogo guy again with the seagulls.
Ask questions.
Yeah, definitely.
Eagles, I guess.
So the question is, mid-season test in 2019 and 2024 test drivers. I mean, otherwise a good idea, but the season is just going to drag on longer, and I kind of don't want that.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do it in a way where we have Tuesday and Wednesday is the race, and then we can have mid-season test in Thursday or Friday. Maybe we could do it like that.
Yeah,
That would be
Yeah.
the best, as long
Especially-
I don't really think
I
it's
came-
necessary, but
But some
I came up with the idea because the injury system got changed and they need a little bit more of a role.
yeah,
They're
the
not
thing with
useless at the moment, to be honest.
test drivers, like changing every single test driver in is a pain.
Oh, come on, Joe.
What's happened? I didn't see it yet.
Look at the bottom. Look at the bottom.
Oh, come on.
So into the next one, which I think I will actually have more to say. So,
Can you read the name as well,
Guys,
please?
I need to
Yes.
go. I think something broke.
alright.
So 2018 Tier 4 Grandmaster has asked, How can a troll hotter situation be prevented and what will be done?
Just sign up better.
Rikyan will not retire. And
Not here.
Can we just clarify something?
so,
Okay.
yeah, I'm going to go into it.
Joe Hutter, right? That wasn't a glitch. Let's just put it that way. That was the system doing what it was supposed to do.
Yeah. So, the issue what happened was that, well, it even isn't an issue. He was tier 3 in 2017, so he was as good as Galvas this season. So yeah, take that.
So you remember that Utter was tier 5 probably at the start of 2017. It's crazy that he gets the seat.
No, that's false. That's actually false. He was actually tier 2 after Spain 2017.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, when he overtook Jay at last lap. Yeah, I remember.
I just remember something.
Anyway, so we don't need to prevent the troll hotter situation. There's no.
Yeah, but
At the end of the day, right, there is a reason why we have a what is it called? The pick order, right?
Yeah.
The pick order can sometimes determine whether you're in contention for a seat or not.
oh,
Basically, to say it simply, you need to sign up more wisely, especially until we get into the fantasy. We just simply expect the top teams to get less number 1 picks, which means that if you are a midfield driver or a driver that wants to take a little bit of a risk, only 10 you should have it as an number 1 pick. Also, if you're really sure that your season is actually like a tier 1 level season.
Right. And Julius asked something in the chat, but are we going through these questions before we go over the YouTube chat? Because there's one thing I want to kind of bring up about that. One thing that I did notice, because what Julius has asked is, joke question, do I stop going for Renault or should I try and fight the curse like a madman and keep the memes going? Oh, can I actually bring something up about that?
We'll never break it apart.
I want to bring something up, okay? So obviously we know that Jay McKenzie's staying at Renault, right? And had he got to tier 2 at Abu Dhabi or Miklos dropped to tier 4, Jay would have been at Red Bull. I just want to point that out. But who would have been at Renault? I did see a lot of people say it would have been Davy Suarez. Well, I tell you, it would have been Julius.
Yeah, Julius just had more long-term success. Like, Davi before the season was just very average. And, like, Julius had a legit great season last time.
The championship wouldn't have saved him from Julius. So
let's be honest, the GP2 level grid of this season was a bit.
I wouldn't say that.
Whatever.
I mean, Suarez
Yes.
had some incredible guys like in Bahrain, where he made that epic comeback in the laps.
great second place against the Julius. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so what will be done? Basically nothing. Expect tell people to sign up better. And I don't think troll hotter situation was a problem in the first place. 10. Santino Formule 1 has asked, yeah, but I'm going to use the usernames because that's fun.
yay.
Will there be a 6th tier? Probably not, at least yet. If there will be, I will host it.
Anything for Clark to win anything for Clark to go down to a lower tier, which he thinks is a higher tier, to win a title, then yes, he'll go for it.
I think if there's going to be if there's going to be a 6th tier, it will kind of break the tier system a little bit, where it's going to be like a middling tier, which is basically designed for either new entrants or for old drivers that just want to drive an open wheel car for fun.
I think
sign up. Just saying.
So basically, what Formula E is for retired F1 drivers.
Include you then, Yuri. Your walking stick.
10. The question that I did not understand. 2018 Tier 4 Grandmaster has asked, also, will there be changes to team performances so they are more realistic? What?
No. No.
I'm sorry, I do not get this question because the performances up until what will be 2021 are based on the real life. Apart from the variation is what changes it, but the performance itself is based on how I analyze the season myself into how
like the GP4 OC Spice with the variation.
Yeah, basically, but the team's actual performances are still realistic. For example, this season was rated as I thought they were in the real life 2018 season.
I've just seen some suggestions for a tier 6. Karting tier, walking tier.
Walking tier.
At this rate, you might just as well end up to Formula BMW since it was the other option that lost out to BTC.
Yeah, but that wouldn't work with the older drivers.
Yeah, obviously.
And next up, and this we were about to talk a little bit earlier as well. Undertaker 555 asked, fastest. Let me say the names like I want.
Don't ruin its fun.
Fastest lap point for everybody and not just the top 10 like real life, because GP4 no one pitched to set the fastest lap anyway. Jay Mackenzie at the 2010 Chinese Grand Prix disagrees with that. But yeah.
If you get damage on
Well, just doing, the fastest lap point, is it going to be based on what it is in real life anyway? You have to be in the top 10.
Yeah, but when I mean,
I honestly, I think the fastest lap will be set by a driver in the top 10 anyway.
Yeah.
But the question was
going to be the
my
rule then
idea
anyway.
first.
Yeah, we are not.
Ask it before him.
We will not do it yet, but if we see it happening a lot where the fastest lap will be set by an outside of the top 10, we can think about it later.
Okay.
Also, Dioka aka the Seagull Man, I saw that you edited your question, which was coming up next. The actual question was injury system, question mark. But let's do it like he wanted it to be asked, because he edited it just 7 minutes ago. Injury system when we go fantasy. If we get somebody to actually decide the injuries in a realistic way, we can do it. But we will never let a driver decide their injury ever.
Victor Bobo.
You cannot just drive the full race at Monaco and get injured after.
And then James are one of the most successful.
No, you're forgetting he could have had.
Ended up being my debut.
You're forgetting he could have had whiplash, and that's very bad as we know.
Yeah.
10. JP Kirby asks, more than one test driver for each team in F1? Please no.
No.
Because what
I
would
do
be
feel
his
that
role?
question.
What would he do?
I'm going to be honest. I feel that question was only asked because he wanted to be a test driver. I don't know why. I get that vibe.
Yeah.
The Brazilians think
I kind of get the vibe on these questions that people just want to get to F1 faster some way.
I just like to say, as someone who always asks questions about test drivers, if you ask questions about test drivers, it's only because you want to be one, not the reason.
Anyway, this is going to be a little bit of a trend in the next few questions. So, Santino Formula 1 has asked, more chance to drive in FP for test drivers. If you ask your main drivers more, it's that simple. Yeah.
If you're a test driver, it's your job to ask.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Why should
you have the one session
where you want to drive? I mean,
for example, I think
you don't even ask it. I mean, you don't ask a taxi driver, drive me anywhere you want, right?
I think Rahul did a pretty good job this season.
Anyway, technically you do.
Can ask me there. already if he wants some practice. I'll give him probably middle 10
I'm gonna get
practices
a drink. Hang
already.
on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Continue whilst I get a drink.
yeah. Russian professional trademarked has asked.
That must be, it must be Vladimir Putin as that account.
Yes.
Those usernames get more creative every day.
Driver academies. No, I don't think we need them.
Nope.
Nice not now.
Okay, so I have noticed the name
When we
change.
decide to speed it.
I
So-
have a question for Flo.
I've already forgotten what it was before. It was
It was Grand Prix 4 28
Yeah.
tier 4 master.
now he is just Scorpio.
Scorpio.
So Race of Champions style event.
Depends what game you could do it on.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, but I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
There's no
exactly.
game that could recreate it.
Maybe
I-
Affect or something.
Yeah, we can. Well, that game doesn't even work for me.
Is there one for Assetto Corsa, maybe?
That's an possible idea. But yeah, I think we will move on for now. It's Santino Formula 1 asking Daytona 500 event. Maybe,
Yeah.
but we will not have more special events. The second endurance event will be flexible for more seasons. I think Indy 500 and Le Mans is here to stay as long as the race we will have next weekend will be okay.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
reasonable.
But I want to
Yeah,
have
that's fair
one
enough.
question. Is the game worth it? Like, should I buy it because I considered buying it?
That is not an GP4 OC question. Move on.
Oh, seriously.
You can ask it later. I can answer in DM or something.
Okay.
Next
sounds
up,
like a good idea.
AB28 has asked a karting championship if there's an actual karting mod.
I actually think I saw
There is
a
a
karting
karting mod.
thing on
There is a
like
karting
Grand Prix
mod on
Games like a week or so ago, but it's like old, so I have to do a shit ton of digging to find it again.
But there is a karting mod on Grand Prix 4, but I don't think it's. I mean, what
I
would be
just
the
don't
point
think
in
it's a
having a
good idea as a
karting mod?
tier.
Because
Yeah, it
because
doesn't
if you're
work
gonna have
really.
a tier 7 below kart,
If we wanted to have karting championship, I think the OC will need to be like 300 people's big.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of mods, I realized, I noticed like a year ago or something, that there is actually a MotoGP mod for Grand Prix 4.
Yeah, and it's terrible.
GP tier. I know.
You can only imagine what it's like.
It's on YouTube, George. You can search it up. It looks weird.
I will do. I'll do that.
So,
I would love
next
to
up,
see it as a
a name that
one-off.
I
wait,
want to
wait.
read.
Oh, here we go.
The Swedish fraud Julius1304/7 has asked a Jury National Day. Yes.
Yes.
I do agree.
Yes. Is that even a question?
And then there's something dark after it. In all seriousness, I was thinking about proposing extending the sign-ups to Saturday night, but I'm not sure what people will think about it, mostly due to the fact that some people can be very busy during the week. I personally only signed up because I remembered it was Sunday midnight, but completely forgot about them during the week.
Pretty.
Okay.
I think we will do it. I think we will extend the sign-ups to end at the Saturday night instead of the Friday night.
Yeah, that's actually
That's
really
a
good.
good idea, yeah, because
Would be probably fair.
yeah. that sounds
Because
like
as I've learned this year, the week is
Notice you've not typed anything, Yuri, because you usually type something when we've agreed to do stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember that because last year you'd always type some stuff on the the thing.
After my work has gotten more and more busy, I become more lazy in my personal life.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, Yeah.
Oh, in Yuri's case, he has the gym that he goes to during the week, but he can't at the moment because they're closed in Finland.
I actually can do 2 or 3 days now because they got the loophole sorted for me.
It's a bit like the pubs here in the UK, isn't it, George? If you wear some kind of uniform, I think you're allowed inside.
Yeah, this is not an uniform based. This is based because they say that they are renting the place, and
bribery as well. Hey, you've not heard of Yuri National Day? You must let me in. Like, don't we hold me out.
Hey, but you know, in Finland, everyone has to serve in the military, so using the fact you're in the military to get access to the gym there probably won't work.
Yeah.
Oh, what a time that was!
Great time.
What happens in the military stays in the military.
Oh.
You're lucky you got back in December, because imagine if you got held up till July.
Yeah, that would happen.
Thank God, Russia, that you didn't start World
But
War III. Thank you.
but if I had stayed, I would have a higher rank. But I didn't want that. I wanted back home.
Yes, perfect
You
choice.
wanted to host those GP4
I got enough of the war place. Yeah. So panel check has basically reversed the question that was asked before. Is there a possibility to only use real tracks on FE and replace the fictional?
Yeah.
I answer that because I'm Formula E guy.
It got a thumbs up. It got a thumbs up though,
There's
so
a reason.
it's just better than the last one.
Oh, it was Usman Hamid who liked that one. Usman Hamid. Oh no! Look, it's changing from 1 to 3 likes. What's going on?
You brought the attention to it.
There is a... Am I able to answer the question?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, go ahead and answer, yeah.
There's a reason why I have fictional tracks in instead of the real Formula E tracks. It's because there are no real Formula E tracks on Grand Prix 4 as of yet.
Nobody made
That's the shit.
Yeah, thanks to Argentina for not making the tracks.
Oh man, that's a burn.
Lucky that this gets unlisted, you know.
We don't care about what he thinks.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So Daniel Fraser has asked.
Oh God, here we go.
Getting grid penalties in practice and qualifying.
I've
No.
been watching for the past. I've been watching for the past.
The
5
question
years.
would be what for? I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, so the next 2 are kind of combined, but I want to do the names. So the Nickelback vocalist and Evan.
Jack Broker's here.
Evan, you
So the first one is having new regs for GP210. Actually, Evan has a more detailed question about this. If 2 teams having different performances for 2020 to 2021, while not as extreme as F1, you can still get podiums with anyone. It will add a new layer of strategy for for picking teams and gives drivers some added pressure to perform. And I've been
How exactly would that work though?
for years.
Not identical though, really. So
For years I've been thinking that the lower tier should have a little bit of a difference for GP2. This is completely up to Flow, but for GP2 if I was hosting it at the moment, I would have like the first 3 teams of the last season being the so-called top teams. They would have a little bit better stats, then the next 4 and so on. Like have just a little bit of a difference, so you can win the title with any team, but it is most likely that you go into one of the better teams.
Okay.
I would
just like
I
in
would
real
say
life.
that fits better when we go fantasy and the sign-up choices matter more.
I have a
but at the
question for
moment,
Flo
I feel it's
regarding
better
Then I
they
can
are.
actually give teams a different performance of each
So I
other.
have a question about
I
the
just want to
future.
say, considering how close the last season was, let's say you sign up for GP2, at the usual point, you sign up for a team, and at that moment, that team is leading the championship, and then it drops to the back in the last few races, which can totally happen. You saw, for example, Galloway went from near last to 5th in just a couple of races, so...
Yeah, but if it's that would matter for the first season of the new performance, but
Yeah.
for when the teams are more custom in terms of the performance, I think a team that is in the first group, like the first 3, probably won't drop below the second group, or so it will not be that big of a deal, I think.
I guess so.
Yeah, then we can move on. You Hamid 0603 has asked a season review. Go on and edit it.
I guess that question was at me.
You what?
Sadly,
You
no,
Hamid?
because I edit too much anyway. I'm not
Yeah.
always a free person.
Yeah,
Yes,
Joe cannot do everything.
If I had 4 arms, I probably could have done, but I don't. I only have 2. So.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
past,
Joe has enough work in the OC as it stands.
Let's make a human let's make some human experimentation and get Joe 2 extra arms.
Clone Joe.
Well, technically he does. He has another brother, but of course he doesn't do anything. So
That's rude.
This discussion stream is enough of a review. Yes, Armor, I agree.
About my brother.
So,
well, to be fair, I nothing. I don't know anything.
Well, you're not wrong.
Anyway,
But anyway.
then we have the next one, which I think a certain person here will have to defend himself. So, if commentating will be a thing for top class, then how about making highlights with the race commentary included instead of having highlights commentary done separately? George, defend yourself.
No, and
I think that
Next,
would not be a good idea because
I did explain this. I did explain this during the Abu Dhabi practice.
And I think,
practice and qualifying is
George
perfect
does a
for
really
this.
good job with the highlights, and I would be sad to see.
In all seriousness, is my coverage still good? In all seriousness, though, like
Yes.
Yes.
I really love it.
yes, that was good. Yeah, I do. I mean, I know it kind of sounds probably a bit sad, but I do kind of hold myself to quite a high standard because it's like one of the other things I enjoy doing. Plus, yeah, well, that's it really. That's one of the other things I actually enjoy doing. So.
As
You're good and definitely gotten better at it as the years gone by.
Because I think I actually, because one of the reasons why I actually improved is I remember I got a comment from a certain person called the Grime Lord. I don't know who that is, but anyway, I remember he sent me. To be fair, he sent me a message. He sent me a message saying like, your coverage is good, but you sound quite boring and everything. So I was like, I'm not gonna say I took that personally, but like I thought, you know what, I might as well kind of change myself, make myself a bit more, just make it a bit more entertaining, I guess. Because when I look back at it, I was like, okay, yeah, on second thoughts, I do sound quite bland. So, that's basically it.
Just like the food that Gordon Ramsay tastes at any of his shows.
No, he says raw, not bland.
I would like to add, by the way, if I can interject. As someone
I appreciate the effort, Nico. I appreciate the effort, Nico. Fair enough. I get your point.
So when you think bland, do you mean like British food?
But
anyway,
now, I wanted to add, if it's possible, on this one because as someone who does do live commentary, for GP2 all the time, if you make highlights of this, it's gonna be very difficult, just like Joe said, with the cropping, because we have to react pretty much on the spot to what happens, and sometimes we can talk a little bit too long and stuff.
Yeah.
So
On top of that as well,
make highlights.
when you look at how much action there is in GP2 and DCM.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
But also,
if we have to do that, the highlights would end up being just as long as the race.
Yeah, highlights would not be possible, basically.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh yeah,
And we have
and
commentaries.
on
I think,
the topic of commentary, sorry that I had to step back a bit, for now at least.
Fact is, I get what Ennis is trying, because I know it was Ennis who asked the question. I get what he's trying to say.
It
but
was Scorpio.
Yeah, that's Ennis, isn't it?
Yes, that's Ennis.
Yeah. I get what he's saying there, because I did do it for IFMC. Anybody remember that series?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course I
They-
remember. I won the
yeah.
last championship in it, so I will always
Can
remember.
you really say you won the last championship when it was only like 5 races?
Hey,
Can you really
yeah.
say that?
Does it really count though?
Anyway,
No.
anyway, I did that style for the first season, and it just drags the highlights. And we already get enough complaints for lengthening of highlights, George.
I will remind you that I've got to do an hour of highlights for the last race.
Yep.
I could, yeah.
Welcome to Brazil.
Yeah, speaking of Brazil, we will have the next question from Undertaking555. Because the OC stream just reminded me, here's a thought. I think this was, I don't remember which track was this, but how about we replace Brazil as the season final with a track like Suzuka? I feel like Brazil is lacking something in GP4, especially when it is dry. So first of all, I think the last race debunked that, especially with the new cars. Brazil is really good.
To be fair, before the race this season, like I did agree. I did kind of agree with him, to be honest. Like it was kind of it was kind of, last year's had been kind of boring, but I still would have kept Brazil as the final race anyway.
Yeah, but here's what I'm going to say. When we get to the fantasy era, Brazil is going to lose its birthright as the final race, so it may be replaced if Brazil gets unlucky enough.
You should.
There will be a riot.
I know with which.
To quote
Yes, right.
To quote Kaiser Chiefs song.
I have. Can we
Brazil
have
did-
the last race at Lytton Hill, please?
now that would be
200 lap.
I would.
200.
I would like to say I disagree with Felix on this one. The last 3 races in GP2 in the past 3 seasons were all in the dry Brazil Championship deciders, and they were all quite entertaining, I would say.
Yeah, but I think he was talking
I
about
would
the
say
top
this
class
though.
where-
I will agree that Brazil was boring, but I've noticed ever since we went to hybrid era, somehow the races got exciting. Even 2014 was not bad.
Except for me.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we know that.
yeah, obvious.
So
It's up the fact that there's a bit of a curse whenever Red Bull's on pole
I
there.
just want to say, do not read the next question. I've already been through it. Move on. Next, please.
We
Do not read the next
we want
question.
to hear it. Can you please read it?
I want to do this because
Nick,
No, I've already answered.
JP Kirby has asked custom teams from 2021 onward. Why do you think the fantasy era is going to begin? Why? Why do you think the
Kicking from the championship, please. Effective immediately.
Okay. So
Let's go to. Said, let's go to Avis for the finale. Here's one that Felix would be peeved off with. That Armor said Monaco is the finale.
I think he's over it. So
Maybe even the Formula E version.
so there's still a few more.
Just from a GP4 OC point of view, since usually the ratings for Monaco don't count, and they never count for the final race, just for the heck of it, why not make Monaco the final race? Of course, I'm just joking, but you know.
They have done since Yuri's been back.
Yeah, there is no unrated races.
Oh yeah, alright.
Anyway,
Never has been.
Next.
Yeah, next one. Rick to Warwick 1. Wow, that's a difficult to say name.
Shut the hell up!
Anyway, about the question. Small touch, national anthems for the top class race winner. I mean, yes, I probably should do that. Because I think I only need to put up a YouTube video and play it.
Yep, that's basically how I do it.
Maybe I'll stop being lazy and do them next season.
Probably better to download it, because you never know, you might end up having an advert come up on your whilst you're trying to get the audio on.
I can use ad blocker for just a moment.
I know.
Just
No,
make
I know
sure you
exa-
don't
I know-
make the
I know exactly the
mistake
episode
and they
it'll
get
be.
the wrong anthem like they did for the Kazakhstan anthem that one time.
Yeah, the advert would be about Evan's favourite sponsor, Ava Media. That would be the main ad.
Oh, that was my favourite sponsor.
And James's favorite sponsor was the Alpacete shampoo.
Or the most common ad I get at the moment is HelloFresh. Is HelloFresh worth the price? Absolutely.
It's not. I tried them before.
Yeah, but in Finland they don't. My YouTube will not play those ads.
I can't wait until GP4 OC gets a Raid Shadow Legend ad.
I will not go that low. I will.
No, be scared.
We may have sponsors at some point, but we will not do raid.
Sponsored by Pelicans.
No, Yuri, surely it'll be your favourite game. It'll be the Birth of Isaac or whatever it's called. I can't remember. What it's
Yes,
called.
but that game is a little bit too big to maybe even want to sponsor us.
I have an interesting question.
Yeah, but hey, we will go these first, please.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh God, just what
Move on. Move on.
Kaiser Bob has asked. Probably not.
Hang on. Wait. You missed out a question.
Oh, classifying Discord chat members by where they are racing ATM class-wise. I mean, there's so many people here.
Lazy.
I mean,
why don't we just give each person the power to give their own rank, and that's how you sort it out easily.
I mean, me, Florian, and so probably can do it over time. At least the F1 driver should be easy.
I think there is a bot that you can ask to a chat that will ask people to classify themselves, and then they'll be added to the classification.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Flo is an expert with the bots. Ask Pancake.
Yeah. No, not
Flo is an expert with the performance rigging bot. Just ask a certain Argentinian.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next one. Yeah, Kaiser Bob, whoever that is. Probably not gonna happen, but how about say it's in GP2 weekends to have reverse grid sprint races too? Either that or at least something to make GP2 races have more strategy, because like it's it's gonna be a one stop every time.
I don't really think there's anything worth changing, really.
My answer to that question is no, because
Yeah, I expected that.
we don't need reverse grid sprint races, and second of all, it will not really fit in the schedule, so
Yeah, that's understandable.
it will be too tight with F1 and so on.
Yeah, I just feel we've had a little bit too many even though the season has been fantastic, having some more races with actual strategic variation like in DTM would be quite nice, but I'm not sure if you can do it on that race length.
Yeah, the race is not long enough for that. Like, but
guys,
at least you have overcuts and undercuts.
I will apologize if you hear any weird noises right now. My cat joined.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hey guys, look,
Hello,
this is cat.
Oh, guys, I was going to say you'll be gutted to know that Michael Clark is going to bed, so he'll miss the rest of the.
Didn't even ask a question.
Have a great sleep, Clark.
Good night, Clark.
It's not even 10 p.m.
By the way, overall, I think GP2 races are still
Anyway.
So I mean, rest of the thing was, yeah, those are repeats, and yeah. So now we can have questions here about the season, sign-ups, anything you want, and also the YouTube chat questions are now open.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Let's ask a question suggestions. Yuri, if you could look at it.
Oh come on, you could have asked here.
No, you're in the right chat.
Yeah, but I wanted to say it and you didn't.
The merch store is a meme.
Yeah, but I mean,
I like Daniel Fraser's comment. Good night, Michael. Dream about winning. Well, yeah. Good luck with that.
Gilly, I have a very important question that I have to ask in person.
Hey, he won the Formula E Championship.
Yes, Rob, we are not in person, but you can ask.
Are we going to watch Finnish videos after this?
First question from Rowan.
Of course.
Well,
Does this question
well,
count as a question?
Yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't count, but yeah, we can keep going after that stream is over.
Okay.
Yes.
The baby convertible car in 2021.
Even though I'm tempted to play my favorite game, but we can do the videos.
So you're gonna play GP3?
Screw you. Just yeah. Simple as that.
No.
What if situation?
I have a really off-topic question. Like, what is your favorite Grand Prix game? Like 1v1, 2, 3, or 4?
Well, it's 4, obviously. I mean, is that even a question?
4.
Yeah, but
We all
what
love
do you
it.
think about the other ones? Like,
They're shit.
Good.
GP3 is good, but 1 and 2 are not so good.
The only thing from the other GP games what will be good in GP4 or be an improvement will be that there will be more than 22 cars.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's.
Can I ask a serious question though? Just
Yes.
to do with,
I have actually a what if situation.
I mean, yeah. When the ratings came up, I was honestly going to be happy if I was even in the top 10. I didn't honestly expect it to be that high, but I will ask this: if I put Red Bull as my #1 choice, would I have got it?
Yes.
possibly, yes.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I want to
Dude, I would have gone Red Bull. Like, I was actually considering going for Red Bull.
So when we are
Oh,
Like, it was like, yeah, do I go to Red Bull? Like, do I put, like Red Bull down as my #1? And I thought, no, I have way too much power in the OC at this point. I don't want to fucking start fucking trying to abuse that. Or make, or like,
I want
like,
to
you know, make half things appear like I was abusing my power. So I'm gonna stay with Red right now.
Well, I said, like my season this season, it literally couldn't have gone any better than it did. So, like, I'm never gonna have another season better than this. Like,
Oh come on, you can go one better.
Unless.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Get
People are saying
racing point
that.
for 2020.
If I even, yeah, but we all know. That, yeah, I suppose
so,
I could. I just know that next season. I mean, I could. I could. God forbid, have a good season. But if I just at least reach 100 points, I'd be happy, to be honest. Just I'll just put that.
You are going with into Team Silverstone with Roland Mochian. That went well last time.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, very well. You was
I would like to ask
much-
as well, just a little bit up next, if
Yep.
so. How far away was I from getting a Torosso seat? Because obviously no one expected Catalan to get it instead.
Not that far away, but you modeled the DTM season. You would have needed to be a little bit higher.
I know, but what do you want me to do when Darabos and Paris decide to wipe me out in the last 2 races, man? I mean...
Yeah, no, but
I don't
there
know.
we are.
Yeah.
I know.
So and
Yeah,
I
but for the question.
and I didn't get the McLaren seat obviously because of that dreadful 2017. Am I right?
Nico had a
Not
great
really.
season.
Not really, because if Kira got dropped down to tier 4 and you were top 3 in GP2, you probably would have got it.
Just because I didn't pass Dennis. Just because Dennis didn't.
Just blame
Yeah,
Dennis.
just blame
Nico,
graph
even if you
remover.
had Dennis, you would have finished behind Dennis.
By the way, I have a question about the Red Bull situation. I think if Jay would have gotten the seat instead of me, did I would have ended at McLaren for the fact that I was ahead of Kiro in the ratings, or I was
because you were in the same tier as him.
well.
You're
So
lucky.
I was probably getting
You're
chopped.
lucky.
Your first half of the season is basically why you are in the OC still. So take the chance and hope you perform well next season.
Thanks.
I
Yeah.
hope so. I hope that I don't get gaslit because it will be not a good finish.
And I hope that I can
Relax.
finally break the curse of only winning one race in a season.
You will win Austria again.
Maybe. Or Russia. Or Russia. That's the only 2 tracks I'm good at.
You might as well change your nationality to Austrian.
But there is no Russia in. Wait, no. If he changes his nationality to Austrian, do you know what that term would be called in German? Reverse Anschluss.
I have a question for Florian. Florian.
Yep.
Will you accept Max Norberg in the DTM lineups?
Well,
And
this time he didn't
will
put
you drop the Formula E course, or it will continue?
I can only
Lineups
say.
get revealed
I
tomorrow,
can only
Franco, so
say.
you'll find out
Yeah,
then.
Franco.
Yeah,
I
no.
can only say this time he didn't put any in his choice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hallelujah.
That's-
To be honest, it's lucky that I told. I kind of feel in a way. I kind of feel I told him like I was like because I was asking him and
Yeah,
everything.
so
he
I'd
had no
rather
idea.
like someone else have broken the curse, but you know.
I will say that he did think that DTM was a lower tier than Formula E. By the way.
Why would you think
Oh Jesus Christ!
Hey,
Okay.
DTM. Formula E did not have Nelson Mondialo. DTM had Nelson Mondialo. It's clear which tier is superior.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
What is this?
Okay, I still like, I still need to ask. Like, I don't care that he won one race this season. How the fuck is Max still in GP2? He's horrendous.
Bribery.
I have no
It's all the money that the UK has sent to Scotland, and specifically to him, to pay for his seat.
The debate on my teammates.
England is paying for his seat.
And I actually answer that question. So the reason why Max Gillen got that seat was actually because first of all he got a win in Bahrain.
I
This
don't
season,
care.
and also
Evans was like, "Get him out! Get him out!"
He started last
Dude,
in Germany and finished on a podium position in third.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
well,
and then we also had Nguyen and Zolga being worst, and the competition wasn't there.
Man,
Yeah, I mean,
Do you realize
someone who did
Skill's
watch
still been
every-
shit ever since he's like joined the OC, pretty much.
Since I did
And
commentate every race this season, Skillen's season is underrated. I mean, he did quite alright. Much better than he did last season, at least.
And yeah, and I think
That's
that,
irrelevant to Evan. That's irrelevant. Evan doesn't care. Until he's gone, Evan is not happy.
But Flo, I have
From
another.
Laura. Does he still have a keyboard that includes batteries?
Who?
That's a
Only
difficult
Flo will
question.
get that.
Come on, Flo,
I still have a keyboard which has batteries in it.
For anyone who doesn't know, I think it was was it a GP2 race? I can't remember where the batteries in his keyboard conked out.
I think it was actually a DTM race.
Yeah.
Or was it? I don't know. I have to check.
Flo,
How long ago was this?
It was this season.
Oh, was it? Oh, right.
This season, I think it was the end
It
part
was
of
Monza
the season.
qualifying.
Yeah.
It was Monza qualifying. I
Monza.
remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Monza.
I remember.
DTM Monza.
I remember that one.
Flo, I wanted to ask a GP2 related question to you actually. So obviously we know in 2020 High Tech should be joining the grid, but who are they gonna replace?
Well,
Because in real life they didn't replace anyone. They just joined as the 11th team, but we already have 11 teams
depends
here.
on the constructor standings as well. And also, I think
alright.
Rapax is not in GP2 anymore, so most likely Rapax.
All right.
Yeah,
And Flo, a
would be
question
fair.
for you. A question to you, Flo. Can you bring back the German version of Watch Out for Debris, please? Achten Sie auf Verschmutzungen der Fahrbahn.
No, unfortunately not. But yeah, I could maybe make that 200k video that I have on my channel now in the German version.
But Flo, I have even more
getting that many
important
views. That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Maybe I manipulated the YouTube.
Whatever's happened.
The video broke the algorithm.
Yeah.
Whatever's happened
And
since then, right? The OC channel has now got 516 subs.
Yeah, basically because I put the channel into the comments and pinned it. No, I wanted to boost the channel a bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess now's the time to make short GP4 videos and maybe they'll go viral because Flo's now shown that it's possible.
Yes.
He's gonna own
Everyone's
the
asked a serious question, by the
23
way.
seconds for the win.
I have a very, very important question. When will the GP2 GOAT, Heinz Harald Frentzen, get his Wikia page?
Basically,
If I had a 16, he goes
basically
fine.
after my partner exams are done and after I'm updated all the drivers and teams to the 2019 standards.
I mean, it
No
is
worries.
an OC related
Could've
question
asked
since he started the British Grand Prix, but obviously it had to be restarted.
Yeah,
And,
I
have a
will
question
actually make the page as an Easter egg.
Hallelujah!
I want to answer a question that Evan put into the YouTube chat. So, can we put together a painting team for liveries and helmets going forward? At least, if not next season, like in 2019, at least before 2020 season starts, we will have an editor sign up, and we will try to get best possible people to edit cars and try to get people who are responsible for like a few teams.
On
Don't worry, we've got a
that
dislike on
topic, will we have a limit on how many custom helmets you can have in a season? Like, can you change a helmet every race, or
If you
once a
create it
season or
yourself,
twice?
then most likely you can have one every race.
Okay.
Speaking of editing, Flo, I want to ask, how long did editing Adventures livery take for Laguna Seca? Because obviously it came rather quickly.
Well, I don't do the GP2 liveries.
I know,
These
but
are the ones that
I'm not
us.
sure who did it
Who
for
does?
you, so I wanted to ask you anyway.
Oh,
So-
actually,
That is Joe, so
Oh yeah, alright, Joe, how long did it take?
Oh, it was actually quite a quick turnaround, to be honest. So, when did I ask you? It was Sunday, I think it was. It was the Sunday before the qualifying, I think.
Yeah,
They said that there was a chance that Daniel was going to get there could have been a GP2 driver that got the seat, really. And
right.
and then obviously we made the decision that it was going to be Adventure. So I told Flo, right, we've decided that we're going to give it to Adventure. So can you send over the Red Bull livery that he already had that was created by Yuri, because I knew that it had a Dams logo on it. So
yeah, he just
to
replaced
quickly change it. So I just went to
Wait, which livery did I create?
the Red
Red Bull
Bull.
livery.
No, that was Oli.
That was Ollie.
Yeah.
What?
Nah.
I didn't know.
When
Nobody knows who created it.
So props to Oli.
genuine question though. How do you paint the GP2 liveries? Like, there isn't a template anywhere. Like, from what I've seen of like the raw text file, is like a bit of a mess.
they are okay. They are pretty okay, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you need a different kind of eye to create them, because like honestly Oli was really good with them, but then I also managed to edit some pretty okay myself. Some were pretty hit and miss, but still, if you need to be able to look at the real life car in its own pictures and based on which part is where.
Like, also, I'd love to
I
like
think
give like
GP4 editor gives you a lot of help with that.
Yeah.
like honestly, I'd love to paint like some of the GP2 cars, like already kind of stem flow, like some like kind of fucking beta ones I was working on in my spare time. But like, yeah, like if you have like a template lying anywhere, I'll like happily take a look at it, try to redesign some of the cars. Because like, let's be honest, like there's only past so long I can start looking at like the dams and MP, looking the same every year.
I will bring up when you mention a GP2 template. Obviously, there isn't a template for the 2011 one, but the latest GP2 template that's out there, of course, is the 2005 car.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, we maybe have to ask some authors which made the shape of the cars and the textures to give us some templates if they agree
we
to.
are going to need a livery chain for next season, because obviously Russian time is gone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So-
I'm creating a Univirtuoso livery, so...
Yeah.
The thing is that if we want to edit the liveries and especially in the F1 tier and keep the cars still looking pretty unique without every single car being the same generic shape, we need to just learn to use the cars itself as the templates and look at the car itself and the real life pictures.
So for trial and error, basically.
I've made few liveries with the tested with 2016 cars.
Made a Citroen.
Yeah, and I did make a Subaru.
Yeah, and actually
So can
they
you
look
try to
quite
make an
decent, I have
Opel?
to say.
Yeah, and they were just like half an hour creations. So with more effort, they can be even better.
Yeah.
And I have a special question for Flo regarding the new regulations in 2021 with fantasy stuff. Can you please bring back Opel, please?
I'm not. I don't know if there's a tape for the Opel or something. So I mean, I think the last one is from 2005. So we need to hope for a new one. Or someone.
Just take
Well,
out your
DTM is now a
BMW or
GP3 series,
Mercedes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a GT3 series now, so
Yeah, that is weird. Why?
it's a touring car series, but it uses GT3 cars, which is just
Useless.
doesn't sound right.
Bloody
It doesn't
useless.
sound right.
Because
Yeah, but
DTM
it's either that or the
almost
series
died.
dies. So
And I know
It's
they had
dead,
to change
basically.
it, but still, it's a bit odd.
Just use
like it was
sedans
like from what
they
I
used to.
read, it was either like change it to that or the series dies.
Oh,
So
they should just
know,
bring
but-
back the super touring cars. Like really.
They can't exactly do that, Nico, I'm afraid.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of these still available somewhere.
No.
You talk. Wait, what? Did DTM? Well, over here in the UK, we had something called the Super Tourers, but that obviously is no longer a thing anymore because it did nearly kill BTCC financially. That did.
I think we had something like that called STW or STW, like Super Tourenwagen. It was a super touring car series in Germany that replaced the DTM from, was it 94 to 99, I think? No, 97 to 99. I think. Just in the middle between the two ITC and DTM.
Team that Alex Albon's in for DTM, right? It's called the AlphaTauri AF Corse, right? He's driving an AlphaTauri liveried car whilst wearing a Red Bull suit whilst driving a Ferrari.
Jesus.
Fuck anyone?
I think we
Yeah,
can
confusing.
call
They
Alex
just
Albon a
use-
mercenary now instead.
But why didn't they use the Honda NSX like GT3 car? That would have made more sense regarding Red Bull.
I have
and
no idea.
AlphaTauri.
I have no idea.
That is
It's
so
DTM, that's what.
random.
Yeah, I think we are going a little bit off topic. So just
I thought we were
if
on
there's
the part that
not
we will-
more questions about the actual OC, we will stop it here.
Yeri,
Let's
one
not talk about
question. When we get the fantasy era, could one of the new teams that make it eventually be Swami GP, please? I think it's high time they make a comeback.
Swami GP with the Subaru engines.
There will not be Suomi GP before we have 2 Finnish drivers in the OC who are going through the ranks.
Oh,
I think it's
We didn't join at all.
But won't you join it?
Can I apply for immigration in Finland that way? That way I will be eligible to
come on,
apply Swami
Alexi, if you
GP.
can do it.
But Yuri, you are allowed to race, right?
Dennis is the only one that can do that because he's
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, but
he can.
Dennis will join.
Yeah, Dennis
Yeah,
can
Dennis
pass the
will.
language test.
anyway.
Dennis is officially Finnish now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, 6 years.
I don't think we've got anything else, have we?
Yeah.
To be honest.
I
No.
don't think so.
Yeah, that was the discussion stream. It was fun again. Next year,
So-
not next year yet, after the next season will be the next one. Which that time I will not scroll the notepad.
Don't forget tomorrow as well.
Notepad, please.
Don't forget tomorrow as well. The replacement for Florian gets revealed.
Oh yeah.
And
Wait, you will replace it.
Seagull guy.
It will-
I muted you from that stream, so I will finish this. And with this, we will see you next time in the endurance. See you.